Evening all. Not sure how good the stream is going to be. Fortunately, it looks like we have been hit by more internet gremlins telling me the stream is poor, which is not good. So I'm going to try and plug on for a bit and we'll see how we get on. Evening everybody, even in the chat. Hopefully you're hearing me and it's coming across, but it's saying the stream is weak. But yeah, I'm going to plug on for now. If you can hear me, let me know. Let me know that I'm sounding okay and it's coming across clear. Probably very choppy, I'm guessing. Hoping that the stream would stabilise, but it doesn't seem to be. Maybe you can see me. Not too sure. Let me know if you can. Bet there's probably quite a lot of lag. Yeah, this will probably be quite short again if we can't get a good stream, which is really frustrating. It was going so well, guys, for such a long time. Now it's really playing up, which is really annoying. Never mind. Never mind. How is everybody? Yes, the gremlins are very much here. Sounds good. Well, that's good. If it sounds good, then hopefully we'll keep plugging on. But just in case, we're gonna get this show rolling. Because I don't know how long it will last, but we'll try and keep it ticking on. But welcome everybody. Thanks for joining. This is Wargaming Weekly. It is the weekly show that brings you all the wargaming goodness, whatever's going on out there in the community, whether it be news, rumors, tournaments, lists, you name it. We'll go over it. We'll have a chat about it. It's very casual. Always guys coming in to chat, just having a good old natter, talking about whatever might be going on. And we always go off topic massively. So if you're watching this for the first time, Thursday evenings, 10 o'clock is when I try to stream. Had some major issues over the last couple of weeks, hence the reason why the stream's been very stop-start. And I'm not sure whether it's coming across clean now. No idea. I'm just going to carry on powering through, and hopefully you guys are seeing and hearing me. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Hello, Green Stuff Games. Haven't seen you in the chat before, so welcome. So we're gonna jump in there. So of course, as always, I come to you with the great support of Wargames, my sponsor. Do check them out for all your hobby goodness, some great prices, all the latest releases, amazing service. So as always, the links below, do check them out. And if you can't find what you're looking for on the website, Martin will do his best to hook you up. So get in touch with him, sort you out. Okay, as far as releases this week, the main Games Workshop release has obviously been the add-ons for the Shadow Wars. So you've got cranes and all sorts really cool looking add-ons for Shadow Wars. There's without a doubt, I mean, we all know it's happening. There's a slowdown on releases as Games Workshop build that momentum, ready and waiting for the big launch of 8th edition. We know it's coming. We cannot wait. So it's not surprising that there's a slight slowdown. Age of Sigmar has been very much sort of slightly sidelined while Games Workshop really try and put the foot down and absolutely build that momentum as much as they possibly can. So it's all going on behind the scenes, but at the moment it's quite slow on the release front. But majority of the show tonight we will focus on 8th edition. We'll talk about all the new stuff that's dropped over the last few days, and see what you guys think. We'll take some questions at the end, and I'd love to hear what you guys are thinking of all the rumors of all the stuff that's being released. What you think? I'd be really interested to kind of hear what you think and what your kind of take on it all is. So before we kind of go and jump into 8th edition and what's going on there and all the sort of fun and all sorts, let's talk a little bit about other news. Let's talk about a bit about tournaments. So the first one I want to talk about, and this is really, really important, this is the very, very last day today that you can get your applications in for No Retreat Horus Heresy. So if you play a bit of Horus Heresy and you want to go out to what is the most premier getaway for wargaming in the world, it's not too late. Chuck your applications in if you've got a Horus Heresy army and you want to kind of get it in there. You never know, you've got a chance. So if you go onto the Facebook page, SM Battle Reports, you can see where you can apply there, get your applications in. You might be lucky, you might get in there at the last minute, which would be awesome. So that's that. As I said, one last day, so literally today, get that in. On other news, we've got the Warhammer Fest coming very, very soon. We've only got just over 2 weeks before that rolls into town, and that is I'm just checking my server to check so everything's kind of still ticking on. Hopefully it is. Fingers crossed. I'll let it tick in. So that's rolling into Coventry. It's gonna be an awesome event. Cannot wait. Gonna be very, very cool. And that's featuring all the main Games Workshop games. So you've got an Age of Sigmar tournament, you've got a Heresy tournament, and you've got, of course, a big 40k tournament, as well as a Blood Bowl tournament as well. And then on top of that, you've got the Golden Demon, which will also be there, and some new core releases for Forge World expected to drop there. So you're going to get your first opportunity to get Magnus. You're going to get first opportunity to get loads of other goodness. Who knows? Maybe even an 8th edition release date. Maybe hoping too much. So yeah. And as far as news, particularly from me on Warhammer Fest, a little bit of movement's happened in the last week, because I've decided to make a bit of a change. So we've spoken quite a lot in the chat over the last few weeks about what to take. Obviously, I'm in the 40k event. What to take? Do I take Tau? Do I take Tyranids? Do I take Genestealer Cult? It's a wacky, basically all holes barred, do what you like. Not quite Unbound, but close enough to Unbound to pretty much take what the hell you like in 1500 points. So, very, very exciting, but I just could not get my head around it. So I decided I'm going to take a risk, and I have bought myself a Age of Sigmar ticket. Shock horror. So that's right. So I'm actually not going to go to Warhammer Fest and play 40k. I'm decided that I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to wait for 8th edition now. I just, for me, 7th edition's not quite got me anymore, and I'm much more excited at the moment about Heresy and about Age of Sigmar. So I'm gonna take Age of Sigmar. Hey, kablams! I'm gonna take Age of Sigmar. I'm gonna take Age of Sigmar to Warhammer Fest. So yeah, pretty big news there, guys. It'll be my very first Age of Sigmar event. Now, hopefully, Games Workshop are getting a lot more strict about footage within their kind of events, particularly at Warhammer World. Now, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get some good footage from Warhammer Fest, and you can see some of my Age of Sigmar content in a tournament setting. So I'm extremely excited about it, because it's the first time I get to bring my horrible competitive nature to Age of Sigmar. And I'm looking over here. I keep looking over there because I'm looking at my work in progress Age of Sigmar army. Let's bring on, and you have seen a bit of this, it's all work in progress, but I'm basically currently making and painting lots of these, which are the Storm Fiends, Skaven, and they are Clan Skyra. So that's what I'm going to be taking. I'm going to be taking a Clan Skyra army. I really, really like the big guys. I like warp lightning cannons. I like the warlocks. Kind of love the fluff behind them, and the build that I'm making is quite well known on the Age of Sigmar circuit. And I'm not going to go into the list today. I'll probably do a separate video, but it's pretty well known kind of list, but with a slight twist on it. So I'm really, really hoping that it will not get completely annihilated every game, and I can come away from the event with, maybe a couple of wins. I'd take that. 2 out of 5 on my first Sigmar tournament. I think that would be not a bad result. So that's what I'm going to go for. And I think it will be a really good warm up, because I've also managed to get myself a ticket for the GT Age of Sigmar event, which is in the first week in July, which is their Heat 3. And that's their kind of big Age of Sigmar tournament they've been selling out, and that sold out within about an hour. So I'm really, really excited about that. So definitely going into Sigmar, 2-footed and trying to see what we can do. I'm having a lot of fun with the game, and it seems to be really kind of growing. And I want to kind of give it a go and see what it's like in the competitive environment. So there's that. 100% going to be exciting event. On top of that, you have the London GT, which is this weekend. The guys from Games Workshop will be there. They'll be doing some live streams from there. I went last year. It is a pretty awesome event. It's only the second year, so the guys are very much growing and putting all their effort into making it a really good tournament. First year, as I said last year, they went straight in there with to try and fill a 200 capacity event, which was massive undergoing. They did really, really well. They got just over 100, and it was generally a pretty good event. I think I came about 10th out of about 120, something like that, if I seem to remember. Very, very filthy, not ITC. A brutal tournament, but a lot of fun, and I'm sure it will be very, very good again this year. So one, definitely, if you're subscribed or you like to watch Warhammer TV, jump over on the Twitch and you'll be able to see some of the footage from that event, and I think it'll be really, really good, really, really good. Hopefully the stream's still coming on good. Got 13, it looks like, in there. Very, very quiet for normal. Are you guys all right in there? Hopefully you're okay. But anyway, so that's coming up this weekend, and definitely one to stay tuned for. Of course, I've just come back. I say just come back. Been back a week, but last week we had the live stream on Warhammer TV, where you got to see my Tyranids take their final outing in 7th edition against Ultramarines. It was a lot of fun. I can't tell you how much fun it was. The guys at Warhammer TV are awesome. I've met them a few times because we've met them in Vegas, and it was a good crack out there, and they're genuinely a nice group of people. But they were very, very welcoming. We had a great time, and the whole day was just a laugh. I went round the exhibition again. I've not been round the exhibition since Age of Sigmar was released, so it was good to see the Age of Sigmar kind of displays. And there's a new Core Tau one versus Mechanicus. That was a cool display. Really, really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was absolutely epic. It was really, really cool, cool day out. I loved it. And I mean, again, if I don't know whether you are, but if you're subscribed to Warhammer TV on Twitch, you can go back and watch that game, and it was hilarious. I don't know whether I should spoil it or not. Probably most of you won't watch it, but it was just so funny. It was such a laugh. We took really wacky lists, so the plan was very much to pit Gilliman versus the Swarm Lord. Now, as everyone will probably know, Gilliman is a much better unit than the Swarm Lord by quite a way. But as a stat line on its own, Swarm Lord's one of the only units in 40k can actually stack up stats wise against Gilliman. They're very, very similar stat lines, so it was a real kind of epic showdown, and it was a classic. It was the relic. It was all kicking off. It was Custer's last stand. The Ultramarines were trying to dig in there and hold on to that relic till the end. But yeah, it was hilarious. Absolutely one of the funniest things I've done in the game. So if you get an opportunity and you want to giggle, watch that game. It was very, very good. Very, very good. So that was that. Hopefully I'll go back and do more. As I said, I've kind of chucked it out there. I said they want to invite me back. I'd love to come round and have another game on there. But fingers crossed we'll get back on the stream again. So that was that. What I did also do on that stream, if you watched it, was I did also announce a little bit about the new channel that's launching, and I spoke about this I believe last week, and I kind of gave you a little bit of a teaser, and I'm going to do a little bit again today. So as we spoke about last week, very soon, within a matter of days, maybe weeks, but it's very close to dropping, we have a new channel launching. So this is not a pay-per-view channel, this is not a Ace Face Plus or whatever it might be. This is a new channel completely, one that's not my channel. It's a channel that I'm working on with a couple of friends, Sean and Darren, good pals of mine. Sean's been on the channel lots and lots of times. Very funny guy, very good player, and got some great armies. Darren, top fella, incredibly good painter, got loads of experience within the hobby as well, and we're going to work together to kind of produce this new channel. So the channel you're watching on now absolutely won't change. It's going to be exactly the same. Nothing will change. Still, that stream of content will continue. Still got lots of battle reports coming. I've got lots planned. Wargame Weekly will continue, and no changes on the channel. But what I will be doing is doing other content on the new channel to give you even more stuff to watch. So, and we've put a lot of effort into making sure the battle reports are going to be top quality, that all the content we're putting out is going to be of the highest level. That's the plan. Whether we succeed or not, only you guys will tell us, but we're really working hard at it, and we're not very far away from launching. So all I can say is, when you're watching this, whether you're watching it back live or whether you're watching it live or whether you're watching it back, keep your sort of finger on the pulse, keep listening out. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, because as soon as I can absolutely launch this, I'm going to try and throw it out for you guys, and I really need your support. I want to kind of lift this off the ground really quickly. Hopefully it's something you guys will really enjoy. So that's the plan, and we'll see how we get on. But that's coming soon. And at the end of the show, I'll give you a very big clue as what potentially aim will be of the channel. So if you watch the stream, you'll know the name of the channel, but if you haven't, then it's coming at the end, sort of. So yeah, so anyway, so that's kind of news, rumours, what's been going on. I've got some other sort of stuff from the channel that I'll kind of fill you in on. So this Saturday, the World Eaters will get back out and about. I have a game versus the legend that is Mr. Idic Beer. Very excited to play Nick. We've not played now for about a year, and there's been a lot of anticipation about this game. Whenever we've played heavily competitive lists. Well, mine more so than his, to be fair, but Nick's a very good player, and he'll always try and bring a strong list. We've had some really epically close, tough games, and we planned this out about a year ago, that what we wanted to do a real kind of showcase battle report. So he's been putting hours and hours into his Space Wolves and his 13th company, and they are looking incredible. And obviously, likewise, I have been putting an awful lot of time and effort into my World Eaters, getting them to the highest quality that I can possibly manage. We decided, and this, as I said, was over a year ago, that we wanted to get together and do a kind of showcase with the World Eaters versus the Space Wolves. Now, his Space Wolves are technically 40k, and my World Eaters 30k. We're going to play a 30k scenario stroke mission, and I'm going to play 30k World Eaters, and I'm going to play against Nick's Space Wolves from 40k. So that might sound a bit screw-if, because in theory 40k should win. The cheaper points, they've got some real power units in there. He will be fielding Wolven, but we've looked at the list, we've tried to tailor it to make sure that it's a fair fight, and that you should see an epic clash. So that we filmed this Saturday. Again, stay tuned to the social media, because I will release little videos, pictures, all sorts of good stuff coming on there. So if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you'll see some little sneak peeks of what's coming out from there. So which is going to be very, very cool. And then that should drop on the channel, I'm gonna say in about a week's time. And apologies that we've not had too many battle reports on the channel. I've just got a new job not that long ago, and it's been really, really busy tying up a lot of loose ends within my old job and making sure that I'm ready to go into this new role. So that's taken up a lot of my time. As always, real life gets in the way, and very much a hobby. And when real life gets in the way, unfortunately, the hobby takes a bit of a back seat. So apologies that the last battle report was probably about 2-3 weeks ago. Hopefully we'll get that back up and running. We'll get some more regular battle reports, and obviously when the new channel launches, you'll see battle reports on there as well. So we'll pick it up again. So thanks for kind of staying with us and kind of holding in there, and for all your great comments and all the other videos, and expect the videos and the content to kind of pick up again. So that's coming. But anyway, I think we've nattered enough about news, rumours, what's going on, what's on the hobby table, all that type of thing. Let's talk about 8th edition. So the question for tonight for you guys in the chat is, what army do you think, from what you've heard so far, taking all that information around how assault works, how shooting works, how profiles work, saves work, all that type of thing, take everything that you've taken on board, even the little slight snippets of what armies might be like, and what I want to know from you guys, forget about what army you own. Obviously you're going to have an emotional response to that, your own army, but what army do you think will be the best army to start with? Because the meta will always change as we find combinations. But what do you think the army that will be the best and that will see the biggest lift in 8th edition? What will be that first army that people are taking more often than not to tournaments? What was it going to be? I'd love to hear what you guys think. So Scrags jumped straight in there. Hi Scrag Guard. Well, that again, a little bit of an emotional response, but I wouldn't be surprised. You never know. Timothy's going with Tank Company. So Guard again, we think. So that's 2 kind of votes for Guard. Interesting. Unfortunately, Elder or Marines, because GW say so. Maybe, James, maybe. So it'd be interesting. So Elder have been very, very strong through the whole of 7th edition and the tail end of 6th edition, and there is quite a bit of hate for Eldar, including myself. Will they stay strong? I'm not so sure they will stay strong. I think they'll be good, because they're still going to want to try and keep things fairly even. I'm not so sure they'll be the strongest. Orcs, I have a feeling you could be right up there, Clams. Absolutely. I think Orcs are going to be incredibly powerful. If I could have an Orc army right now, I reckon I'd be sitting pretty. Do you see IG? Yeah, you think IG will get the biggest lift? So far, they sound very, very good. Very, very good. Orcs will be stronger too. Yeah, 100%. Thank you, David. It's about time. Nids, of course. And I'll tell you why I think Nids will be really, really good in a minute. But I'm really, really interested to see what you guys are thinking. So we've got more for Orcs. As I said, I am really thinking that Orcs will do incredibly well out of this edition. And come on, everybody's got to be. I think we're all wanting Orcs to be awesome. I think that's where it's at. The only hate for Elder is cheap Wraith Knights. Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's the reality. Is if Eldar get the right points, then I think it's fine. So let's make Wraith Knights the right sort of points level. Let's make Scat Bikes the right type of points level, and then other things that are kind of just iffy, let's bring them up to the similar sort of power range. That's what we've all got to be hoping for. Ultimately, no matter how powerful things are, points will always be the leveler. They will be the thing that will make and break stuff. Blams is saying you can't understate the importance of pistol shooting into combat. Absolutely. I mean, Cypher's going to be king, isn't he? Cypher is absolutely going to be the new daddy, I think. But I think absolutely, plasma pistols are going to be awesome. All that type of thing. It's really going to change the way that people are playing, and I think you absolutely can't underestimate how good little tweaks are going to be. But points will be the ultimate thing. So they released today. They released the first kind of data sheet as a kind of a preview, and they released it for Thousand Suns for the Rubric Marines. And actually, the Rubric Marines, if you just kind of take them as a standalone stat line and you put them against Thousand Sun Rubric Marines at the moment, there's definitely a power lift in those stats. Obviously, we're not comparing it to anything, so it's pretty much impossible to make that kind of statement. But it looks like you can kind of read between the lines that we're all doing at the moment. We're all guessing, we're all playing that rumour mill, we're all, wish listing, if you like. But it looks like they've lifted those Thousand Suns a little bit, but they will be straight back down with an absolute bang if they don't sort their points out. If they keep their points at the same, or they don't lift other people's points, so they come up to where the Thousand Suns are, the Thousand Suns will still be a useless unit, which is what they are currently. I love Thousand Suns. I want to play my Thousand Suns so much. Absolutely, I can't tell you. But you cannot field 10,000 Suns with their special weapon without it just costing you too many points. They're unplayable, absolutely unplayable in a competitive environment. Of course, you make it fluffy and you Thousand Sun players maybe got twice as many points as the Space Marine player, you can do it. But in a competitive game, and in a standard game, to be fair, the Thousand Suns are always going to pretty much become unstuck. Regard saying Smurfs. Yeah, I mean Ultramarines will be good as well. We'll have the two initial armies that will release with the box. Look like they'll be Ultramarines and they'll be the new Mega Marines or True Scale Marines, which is what they really are. And they'll no doubt get a lifted stat line, I'm guessing. And then the Death Guard as well. And obviously they're going to want to sell Death Guard. No doubt Mortarion will be out pretty soon after, and he's going to need to be able to stand toe to toe with Gilliman, isn't he? So you're going to see that as a strong army without a doubt. But we've got the chat's gone a bit mental. We've got Wargamer Online in there. Hello, guy. I'm not too sure who that is, but congratulations, Wargamer Online. You're doing amazing in the community. I absolutely tip my hat off to you. Great content. You're really putting in the hours, so well done. Who they're saying, so pistol flamers are going to be awesome. Absolutely. I think all these little tweaks are going to really make the difference. Just the way that you kit out your standard tactical marines is going to really make a difference going forward. I think that's where we're going to see this kind of power tweak just change. You only need to look at a unit like a unit of acolytes, so a unit of Gene Stealer Cult acolytes. At the moment, you can pretty much give them all hand flamers. Just imagine how brutal that would be in combat, on top of the fact that they're notoriously good at fighting anyway. So will a unit of 5 Gene Stealer Cult acolytes be suddenly the new hotness? We don't know, which is why it's so exciting. It's absolutely so exciting. Hi, Sam. Yeah, it's just, I can't get over. So we've got a few more people in the chat. So as I was saying before, really interested. Kind of so far, I think we're looking at this. We're saying Guard are going to see the biggest lift. Orcs are going to be very highly improved, and we think potentially Elder are still going to stay in there. So interesting. I don't think Elder will. I think Elder are going to pretty much drop out of favour, and I think they might go back to as they were in 5th edition. And the good thing about 5th edition, which I loved about Eldar, is if you played an Eldar player in 5th edition that really knew what they were doing, so they knew their tools, because that's what an Eldar army used to be. You'd have a perfect tool for every job on the battlefield, and you had to play it perfectly because it was very unforgiving. I remember back in the day when I was, really kind of only just getting into the competitive scene, and I'd play Eldar, and I could play 2 different games. So I played somebody that just, just rocked up with Elder, didn't really think about it particularly, and I would just steamroller them because they were so soft. But then I'd play a veteran Elder player who really knew what each of his units did, how to kind of maximize the impact on the battlefield that that unit had, and they'd beat me. They'd beat me most times. They'd know how to shut down my psychic powers. They knew how to outshoot me, how to outmaneuver me, and that's what Elders should be all about. They are the specialists of the galaxy. They have the best tech. They know what they're doing, but they shouldn't be a powerhouse. They shouldn't be a steamroller army. They should be a tricky, clever army. Outsmarts the opponent, outmaneuvers their opponent, and when they need to, put in that killer blow. And I think that's where, really, really gonna kind of, that's where I want to see Eldar back. We'll see whether that happens. I think everyone's picking on Sam by the sounds of things in the chat. That's nice, isn't it? You come into a new stream, it's your day off, it's like a busman's holiday, and you're getting picked on in the stream. Shocking stuff. So come on, who are we saying here? We've got also like to see Dark Elder as a force to be reckoned with. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing with Dark Eldar is, as Lawrence has proven time in, time out, the current Dark Eldar army can be very, very effective, but it is very, very limited to its build, and that could be leveled at quite a lot of armies in 7th edition. But Breather spam, extremely effective. Venom spam against certain armies is an absolute killer. But on the whole, if you play a balanced Dark Eldar list, it tends to fall apart, and they very, very much struggle against Tau. Tau 9 times out of 10 will bully most Dark Eldar armies easily. So yeah, I think a lift to Dark Elder would be good. 100%. We all like. I'd like to see those underdogs. Everyone wants to see these armies that we don't see on the board. Ultimately, I think Orcs is the one that I really, really want to see get that lift. I love the stat line for the Morkanot and the Gulkanot. I mean, that's so cool. I mean, that model, since it came out, who doesn't love that model? It's such a beautiful, stunning kit, but it's been absolute crap since the moment it landed. And generally, you just don't see it on the table. And how cool would it be to see that unit looking scary on the table, which is what it should be. I'm so excited to see Orcs become a scary force in 40k. That's what we all want to see. I want to see all sorts of stuff on the table. I see lots of fish. We're talking about Tau. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? How do you think Tau are going to get on? I'm really not too sure. I'm sitting here next to my beloved Riptides, and I'm thinking the Riptide wing might be a thing of the past. Here he is, fresh from his escapades, his last game. Yeah, I mean, Riptides, come on, they need to either get a massive points increase, or they need to get a slight power decrease. Let's again, let's see Tau with Fire Warriors out there. Let's see Kroot on the table. How cool would that be? Armies of Kroot. Everybody loves Kroot. Come on. What else have we got in here? Dark Eldar will be better because of split fire, and their vehicles might not blow up. Yeah, absolutely, from a stiff breeze, exactly. I mean, that's the thing, now vehicles are going to have wounds. You're not going to get that light vehicle. Yes, it won't have very many wounds, but it will give that unit inside a little bit more protection, because ultimately, even if it's a vehicle with sort of, I don't know, 8 wounds, for instance, which probably isn't very many by the looks of things from our gun profiles. But if you have a vehicle with that amount of wounds, it's still going to have much more chance getting closer up the battlefield and being able to put your troops where they need to be, which is in the enemy's face. And by the sounds of things, there won't be a penalty on jumping out and assaulting, even if you're not open top. So there's going to be a lot more vehicles on the board, which I think is good, because 40k vehicles look beautiful, they look stunning, everyone wants to see them on the table. Just more and more cool stuff. More and more cool stuff. Orcs will eat Tau in 8th. Yes, I think you're right. I think Orcs are absolutely going to eat Tau. Um, but there you go. Tau have had a little bit of time in the sun. I still think there'll be ways to play them. I'm convinced that the fact that they've got a full reboot of every army, there will be, ultimately it's impossible when you've got that amount of units and you've got so many people playing the game. It'll be impossible to balance it completely. That's never going to happen. But I think they would be stupid not to give strength in all armies, so you can build a powerful list from whatever codex, whatever faction you want to, because they're not going to want one codex to just dry out sales. That just doesn't make business sense. So I'm sure there's been an awful lot of effort in making sure that every army has a sting. But yeah, so what are you guys most excited about in 8th? What are you looking forward to most? What's the one thing that you've seen that you can't wait for? Where do you think Skatari will come? Interesting one. Well, Skatari have got a lot of shooting, haven't they? Um, so and we've seen that shooting is potentially going to be even more shots, even more damage. And Skatari have always been notoriously very good at anti-mech. So again, if it's some way of we don't know how Haywire is going to kind of work in 8th edition. Is there going to be some way that they're going to make guns better if they're designed to take out mech? We don't know at the moment. Will it be that kind of 2d6 against mechs, that type of thing? A little bit like we've seen with the melter rule. That will be interesting. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, absolutely, Skatari I think will be a decent army. Um, Hoping Skatari and Cult Mechanicus get joined as a faction, and I think they probably will. I think they'll try and do some super groups within the new rule set, same as they have with Age of Sigmar. It works very well because the buffs and the advantages you get from linking parts of that faction together. So if you have, for instance, if you've got Skaven and they're all pestilence, then you've got a big bonus by able to take certain things as troop choices. So you can take your plague monk as troops, and you get certain buffs that will only work on those type of units. So I think there will be advantages for taking certain parts out of those super groups, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of those armies get put together, and then it will be the data slates, it will be the battalions that then pull those units and those armies separately, so you can build a fluffy, very themed army amongst it and get all your advantages, get your extra command points that sound like they'll be a big thing in 8th edition, and be able to kind of push things forward that way. No formations will be like in Age. No formations will be like in Age of Sigmar. Yeah, so absolutely. So formations are here to stay. We absolutely know that they are a way of selling a lot of models, and they're a way of potentially pushing people to build an army in a certain way, particularly as we said, themed, fluffy, which is the way Games Workshop want us to go. So they want to help us as hobbyists, as enthusiasts of the fluff and the lore, to build competitive fun armies that are very much in line with the story and the theme. And by these formations or battalions or whatever they want to call them, they are going to push you because they will give you those extra benefits and will make your army work better. The formations will still be there, but they'll be pointed. Almost certainly they'll be pointed to be able to reflect how powerful they are, which works ever so well in Age of Sigmar. And where some of those battalions are too cheap, they can then adjust that with a regular update to what will be the 40k General's Handbook, which again worked incredibly well. What else have we got going on here? Looking forward to the Swarm Lord being able to make it across the board with characters being untargetable. Absolutely, how cool would that be? Getting big monsters for NIDs. But the thing is, you're saying that, but I think it said they did say it was around smaller characters, so it might not be the NID monstrous creatures. We might not get away with it as easier as the others, but then on the flip side, I would expect something like the Swarm Lord to potentially get a lot of wounds and a very, very good save to kind of allow him to do that. So I don't think all's lost there, but I wouldn't necessarily think that that the NID characters won't necessarily get that same rule. They didn't say all characters. They did kind of very much say that it would be smaller characters. They said that Gilliman would get it, but I don't think that it will necessarily be your big monstrous creatures type characters. The same as with demons. You know, a Bloodthirster is going to get picked off as anything, but Bloodthirster will have a lot more wounds, whilst a Herald that again won't be able to be in a unit and will have significantly less wounds won't be able to be picked out. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a bit wishful thinking with the Swarm Lord, but let's hope he gets the buffs he needs to be seen on the table, because it's such a cool unit, such a cool unit. So I think the Swarm Lord will have 10. I think the Swarm Lord will have 12 to 14. So we'll have there you go, James. We'll have a little bet out there, a little sportsman bet for you. I'm going to go 12. You're going to go 10. So we'll see what happens when it launches. No, you got it. I just didn't read it. Yeah. No, as I said, I think they're going to find ways to make those units much more achievable to get across the board, but they'll do it in different ways. So big creatures, lots of wounds, very survivable. Little creatures, easy to hide. Kind of makes sense. What have we got here? Looking forward to killing off characters. Timothy says 14 CAD variants, wasn't it? With fluffy bonuses. Yeah. So exactly. So you're going to be able to build your list in very, very different ways. And depending on how you build it, you'll get buffs and advantages, which is really cool. Really wicked. If Gilly is at 9, I'd imagine the Swarm Lord would be max 8, 9. But then again, Gilly can't get targeted because he's not considered in 8th as a really big guy, because they kind of said that. So I think you'll be bang on if Swarm Lord can't be targeted. But I think if the Swarm Lord can be targeted, which I'd expect him to be, like most of the big NID characters, I would expect he'll probably have more wounds. That'd be my guess. I would say more like 12 or 14. That's kind of from what they're saying. Because as I said, repeating myself, but they said that it was smaller guys, the smaller characters, that will get away with that not being able to be targeted. So we'll have to see. What do you think of the chances of Rex being troops for Dark Elder again? Well, they might not be. I think it'll be the same as Age of Sigmar. So you probably will have quite limited battle line, unless you build your army in a certain way that then may well unlock them being troops. So potentially, I mean, I'm not massively into my Dark Eldar as much as some, but I think they go very much with like kind of the Incubi and that kind of that side of Dark Eldar. So maybe if you took that kind of that part of Dark Eldar, you might, and took them all within that keyword, you might be able to have them as troops. But I don't think standard they would be troops. He shouldn't be targeted. Yeah. But yeah, if he's going to be a large monster, he'll need to be higher. Yeah, 100%. Right, what else have we got here? Wouldn't also take support elements to help big characters across the board. Yeah, 100%. I mean, we know that there's going to be, lots of area effect bonuses that will, again, hopefully make other units more viable to get across the board. I'm still finding things, as I said, I'm really, really excited about Age of Sigmar at the moment, because I'm just kind of getting into it. I'm starting to unlock those cheesy, nasty combinations and the things that you can do to really make a pretty much dead-end nothing unit suddenly become a beast. And I think that's really cool as well, kind of stacking those bonuses, those buffs, and actually making your army quite a surprise to your opponent. That's a really fun way of playing the game, and that's a real kind of tactician way, because you might have that unit that's very, very dull, you know, that tactical marine unit that doesn't do much, but you know, you suddenly got Gilly there, you've got a like librarian here, and then suddenly not a Death Star, because they're not in that unit and they're not making it invincible. They suddenly make it very, very killy, and they suddenly make it really, really effective. And that works incredibly well in Age of Sigmar, and I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of comes across quite heavily. You know, so like Hormagaunts, for instance, you know, maybe the Swarm Lord does something that suddenly makes these Hormagaunts like on steroids. They bound across the board and suddenly rend -3, God knows. But yeah, exciting stuff to come. What's Jack saying? Looking forward to single faction opponents rather than soup lists. Hopefully the bonus are worth it. 100%. You know, that's why at the Northwest Open and the Last Chance Open, we do single faction, because one thing is the competitive creep to fill in the gaps in your codex with other factions is not what the game's about, in my opinion. But also, for me, the look of a unified army on the board is so much more stunning and so much more fun to play against than a soup army. 100%. So yeah, if we see that coming through, I think that's all the better for the hobby. Need to read up on Age of Sigmar. Yes, you do, mate. Age of Sigmar is where it's at the moment. I'm telling you, it's such a good game. Such a good game. So impressed with it at the moment. Really, really cool. I'm finding more and more it's not balanced, but that's probably why I enjoy it, because I'm a cheesy bastard. Keith, hello Keith. Do you think Space Wolf Bloodclaws will be normal battle line? Will come in line with normal marine stats? They might do, but I think that with combat being more viable, they might not come in line with the marine stat line. But what they might do is might have more of that kind of feral, lots of attacks, lots of bonuses that way. So I think you might be able to make them really, really effective in a slightly different way that you'd make a standard marine. I think they'll come in line in maybe a different way. That's just a guess, but that's potentially my prediction. I'm just hoping that Harlequins would be playable again. Absolutely. Well, the fact that they're your little transports now will hopefully be slightly more survivable, which is cool. I think assault, they very much want assault to become much more of a viable tactic again. So I'd expect Harlequins to be strong. Hopefully they'll be strong on their own without the need of their power brethren. Fingers crossed. But yeah, I mean, who doesn't like seeing Harlequins on the board? Such a iconic, classic, beautiful army to see on the board, and especially yours, mate. Yours are stunning. So all the more we see them, the best. Ace cheese never. Yeah, unfortunately, guilty as charged. Blood Claws have pistols, don't they? Yeah, they do, Kablams. Again, that will. And Scrag, let's not go down that. We do not want to be talking about Jaffa Cakes. That's dangerous grounds. We're having an interesting conversation at the moment. There's always someone that wants to ruin it. Had that conversation numerous times. You know what a Jaffa Cake is. I'm not going to bring it up. Don't upset me. Right. We've been running for almost an hour, guys. I'm quite enjoying it. We've got a great crowd in tonight. Really, really pleased to have so many people in. I'm pleased that the stream's coming across well, because I was absolutely pooping out at the beginning because that stream signal was looking awful. Oh, stop it, Scrag. I do not want to know. If you're watching this back, Scrag Guard has got a problem with Jaffa Cakes. He brings it up every week. They're not a cake, they're a biscuit. There you go, I've said it. Stop it. Go away. Right, okay. Fine. So that's 40. So I think we've covered it, haven't we? So we know what's coming. We know that Tyranids are going to be the best, 100%. We know that Orcs are going to be good. We know that Eldar are going to be weak. Tau are going to be weak. And everything else is going to come in the middle. So I think that's it, isn't it? We probably don't need to see anything more. The Games probably pack it up now and just release it. I think we've decided. Yeah, absolutely. I think so. Um, they're still going on about Jaffa cakes in the chat. I can't believe it. Every week, without fail. As soon as we get to this stage in the night, always Jaffa cakes. Always Jaffa. Right, guys. I tell you what, we're gonna go off subject a little bit. But have you got any questions for me? So any questions at all? It doesn't need to be about A. It can be about anything at all. Um, whatever. What I should be watching at the moment. At the moment, I'm having a bit of a crisis because I've kind of run out of things to watch on telly at the moment until new Game of Thrones and the Neck and Defenders and Jessica Jones. I'm running out of things. I've started watching that American Gods. I watched the first one of them tonight. That is brutal. That's an Amazon one, but it's absolutely brutal. But yeah, what are you watching at the moment? Is there anything that I should be watching? And if you keep going on about Jaffa cakes, I'm going to ban you guys. Any questions? Any questions? What should I be watching? Anyone else getting tired of rules? Yeah, and teas. I am a little bit bored of it now, to be honest. I think we're all in the same boat. We just want it now. We absolutely want it. I'm not 100% sure what they're really waiting for now. It's probably Warhammer Fest, guessing. But I couldn't say for certain. But we know it's coming really soon. We know it's going to be good, but I want it now. So want it now. What's the new channel called? Haha, a little bit longer. A little bit longer. Watch The Man in the High Castle. Not heard of that. Nice. Do you think lictors will be playable again? Yes, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Yep. Warhammer Weekly. Watch Warhammer Weekly. What's Warhammer Weekly? Wargaming Weekly is the only show to watch. That Patriot on Amazon. Dark comedy. I'll check that out. Sounds good. Vikings. Yeah, see, I've missed Vikings. I've not watched it at all. Is that one worth picking up from the start? I'm sure it's about 4 seasons on now, but is that one really worth taking the plunge on? Is it a bit too heavy? I don't know. I know a lot of people rave about it, but I've not seen that one. Is there a release date yet? For what, mate? What for release date for what? What for 40k? Not yet, not yet. Trailer Park Boys. Never heard of that. How do you think APOC Blast will work? I think massive amount of hits, just massive amount of hits. I think that's the only way they can work it. Blasts are gone, so it's going to be really interesting, in fact, just to see how the really big damage units kind of, so when we're talking about Titan, how are they going to work? It's going to be very interesting. Better Call Saul. I'm not a fan, to be honest. I never really liked Breaking Bad. Sorry, I just never got into it. My wife watched them all religiously, but it didn't really work for me. Dirk Gently. Well, it's going quick in the chat. It's in Coventry, right by me. Yeah, yes, it is. Vikings is a must. Okay, all right, Keith. I think that will be on the planner. Let's get some Vikings. I'll let you know. We'll probably get the first first few episodes at least before Wargame Weekly next week, and I'll let you know how I'm getting on. You couldn't get into Vikings. Well, maybe I'll give it a go. See how we go. I tried that. Orange is the New Black. Couldn't get into that. Couldn't get into that at all. They have 40k talk at the UK GE. What that is that the London GT? You talk about the London GT this weekend. Yes, maybe. 8th edition, possibly. That would be a massive thing for the guys for the London GT. So fingers crossed for them. So that'd be cool. Are you part of the PMP Google Plus group? It helped me for my painting. No, I haven't, but I'll definitely check it out. 100%. I'm doing Age of Sigmar tournament. I'm doing the Age of Sigmar tournament fest. Anyone else there? Yes, me, Jack. I'm going to be there. I'm playing Age of Sigmar. I'll be losing at Age of Sigmar. No, I will not watch The Only Way is Essex because I'm not from Essex. Again, you're really trying to push my buttons tonight, Scrag. You are going to be on the ban list soon. Never watched Breaking Bad. Yeah. Yes, Scrag is on form. Games Expo. What's Games Expo? I'm missing something. Did I miss something? Oh. Oh, okay. What's at Games Expo? Tell me, please. I need to know. Um, Stop it with the Essex boy. Stop it. What Sam said. Yeah, but what? What? I missed. You're all talking too quickly. I can't multitask. Come on. Bunch of YouTubers on there as well. Okay, on the community. Cool. I'll definitely check it out. 100%. 100%. Right. Well, I think we will call it a day pretty soon. Few things feeding through. I don't want to miss anybody's chats. But anyway, guys, I'll just kind of leave this ticking on, see if anything comes up. UK Games Expo. Cool. Sweet. Um, yeah, so as always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been an awesome show tonight, and it's been really lastminute.com because I didn't advertise it this week because I really wasn't sure whether I was going to let you down again. And I didn't want to do that because you guys have been really, really, really patient. And yeah, I can't thank you enough for joining. There'll, as always, be another show next week, same time, 10 o'clock Thursday night. Look forward to seeing you all there. Spread the word. It's always a laugh. And before I go, I'll give you a quick little sneak peek of what the channel is going to be. If you're still here, then you're lucky. Seen enough. That's it. There you go. Seen the new channel emblem. Seen the name. Get excited, guys. It's coming soon. It's coming to a YouTube channel near you. Thanks very, very much for watching. Until the next Wargaming Weekly, or whenever I see you in another battle report, or whenever I see you in the community. Good night, guys. See you soon. Bye for now.